Okay, so let us start with module 4, module 3. Okay, number wise it is module 3, which is about probability distributions. Before starting with that, let us see the broader sense how probability is defined. So probability is defined as the ratio of number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. Now this is in the case if I deal with some coin. Okay, that is I'll get 50% chance is there, or 1 by 2 is probability of getting a head or getting a tail. Suppose if I'm dealing with some other experiment, is the number of outcome is going to be fixed as 2 or is it going to change? Suppose this is a problem when I have dealt with one tossing of a coin. If I change the experiment, is the total number of outcome is going to be 2 or is it going to change?
Ma'am.
Huh? It will?
Same.
Same, ma'am. 2.
2 only always for tossing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll play with a dice. You know, no? That snakes and ladders and all you play, right? There is a dice. What are the outcomes? How many results are there?
6.
6 are there. So how can I write it as 2 then? No, no. So
No,
total
ma'am.
number of outcomes are going to change according to the experiment. If I'm playing with cards, how many cards will be there? How many different types of
50.
cards will be there? 52.
52.
52, right? So that here, that time the total number of outcomes are again different. So it is, you cannot say it is fixed. It depends on the example, experiment, what you conduct. So broader sense, this is the definition to be remembered. Now there are some axioms you can say which are to be used or which is to be remembered, and they are very useful. So the first axiom is always the probability of any event A. Do you know, no? Probability is denoted like this. Capital P of A, if I write, that is probability of the event A. Capital P it is, not small p. P bracket A means probability of the event A. Now here, this always the probability value lies between school knowledge. Also is enough here to answer. No? You don't remember it? 0 to
1.
1. Very good. So always know probability value should be positive and less than or equal to 1. Remember this. How R is between -1 to +1. Okay. What is this R? Correlation coefficient. Okay. Like that probability value. Whenever they ask probability, let them ask in module 3 or module 5 or any probability value you calculate should be always positive and less than 1. Okay, because equal to 1 happens only for the universal set, which is called as sample space. Okay, so we just take a sample space S. This we use sometimes. It is called as sample space. It is nothing but like a universal set, what you consider. The basic thing for probability is always set theory. Remember this. Set theory only is extended because so many things you have to take from that, and then probability is being defined. So sample space is nothing but it is denoted as S. It contains all the possible outcomes. That means, for example, if I'm dealing with tossing of coin, what I should write? I should write head and tail. This is my sample space. Getting it? If I'm dealing with a tossing of a die, if I'm playing with die, what are the possible outcomes? You may get the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Am I right? So this is my sample space. Sample space is just the same as universal set. Okay. Do you remember universal set? Okay, let it be. Now one more important thing. Whenever you take P of A bar, do you know the notation A bar? Suppose A is some event, A bar is its complement. A bar is its complement. Anybody? Can you relate this with your P of A? Do you remember it? Okay. So P of A bar, complement of any event is given by 1 minus probability of that event. Okay. For example, see for head and tail, no? Okay. Or else the same result you can write like this. P of A plus P of A bar is always what? If I just simplify it.
1.
1. Okay. For example, A is what? Getting a head, suppose. Probability of getting a head. What is the chance you said? 1 by 2, no? Probability of getting a head is 1 by 2. What is the probability of not getting a head? Not complement. Complement of that. A reverse of that. What is the probability of not getting a head means what you should get tail. So that probability is half, isn't it? If I add it, what I'll get? 1. So always for any event, if you add probability of that event and probability of complement of the event is always going to be 1. Even there are some, there were some proofs and all, we used to take it and all. Okay. Now, even one more thing is important. Whenever you take probability of A union B, it's called as addition theorem. Anybody remembers the result? It is probability of A plus probability
Union.
of B.
B minus probability of A intersection B.
Into B.
Very good, very good. Okay, so this is the addition theorem. This can be easily proved with set theory. But time being now this, okay, in 18 syllabus, it's not there. These are all fundamentals. So similarly, you have the, okay, suppose now A intersection B is null set. Null set means they are disjoint. Do you know? Nothing is common between them, suppose. A intersection B is null set means, intersection means what? How you write? Union means you write which are there in A, which are there in B. Correct? Intersection means which are there in A, also in B. So you write it as commonly, that is intersection, no? Correct? So
Yes.
suppose there is nothing in the intersection. So what is the extension here? It is probability of A plus probability of B. This is called as addition theorem. Similarly, if you have probability of conditional probability and all is there, better. I'll not take it. When it is necessary, I'll take. Otherwise, it creates a lot of confusion. Okay. So this is about little basic thing. Now with this, I will start with the module. Okay. Yeah. The module name is probability distributions. It is module 3. So questions are going to come at which place? Question number? Question
5 and
number
6.
5 and 6.
5 and
Okay. Yeah. Probability distributions. Because know what happens? We learn probability even in module 5 also. So there should not be a confusion. So I said these are going to come in question number 5 and 6 only. They don't prefer mixing of the questions mainly in mathematics. Okay. Yeah. Now here we'll define some terms. So the first term is random variable. It is called as random variable. Now here, suppose we are taking some experiment. That experiment is nothing but tossing of 2 coins. We are tossing 2 coins. Okay. So tell me what is the sample space. What I'm doing, I'm taking 2 coins and I'm just tossing it. So S is what? Sample space. Means I have to write all the possible outcomes. What you may get if you toss 2 coins.
tail and head.
Head,
Okay.
head, tail, tail, head, tail, tail, head.
Okay. Yeah. Tail, head and tail. Now, these two are not same. This is my first toss. This is my second toss. This is my first toss and this is my second toss. So these two are not same. Okay. Yes. So my sample space contains now how many elements? 4 elements, right? Now, yes. Now I'll take some variable as x and I'll assign some value to this. I'll give some function to this. So what I'll say, x is the number of heads obtained. I'm assigning something. You can say number of tails obtained. Don't give anything other than this, because for tossing of coins, we have to deal with 2 outcomes, head or tail. Okay. Yeah. Now I take this x and I operate it on each element of S. So what is the first element? H and H. So what I'm doing, X is what? Number of heads obtained in this event H and H. How many heads are obtained? How many heads are obtained here?
2.
2, no?
2.
2. Okay. Similarly, I'll take the same X, I'll keep it fixed. I'll take the next outcome as H and T. Tell me, number of heads obtained in this event.
1.
1. Now if
1.
I take X and operating on the next element T and H, what I'll get the result?
1.
1 again. Now how to? This is one event. How many heads are obtained in this event? Only 1, no? Okay. I take my same X, I'll take for the next outcome, T and T. How many number of heads are obtained in this event?
Null.
Null means you should write 0. Means I am writing number. Number is 0 here. Agree? Is the part clear? Simple thing. Now, what
Yes,
I will do, I'll just take it in the set notation format to make you understand. So what I will take, the first set, I will take it as a sample space. I'll take it as sample space. What are the elements here? You can say HH. Okay, let me take a little bigger one. This is head, tail, head, and tail. Am I right? What I'm writing in the first set, I'm writing all the elements of S. Then I will take a X on this. You used to take a function, no? I'm taking similar way. So X, I'm taking number of heads obtained. So here, head, what I'm getting the answer? 2, correct? So I'll write here the numbers as 0, 1, 2. So this H and H, I have to assign it to which number?
2.
2, correct? So I just map like this. Similarly, if I take HT and TH, where I have to map? I have to map it to 1, no? Okay, nothing, just like a function format I'm taking. Where I have to map this T and T to be?
0.
0. Okay, yes. So suppose if you take the elements of S, for all elements of S, if you operate a X on that, if the resultant thing is a real number, isn't it? Can I call this set as a real number set? Are they not 0, 1, 2 are real numbers? Yes or no? Tell me, yes or no? 0, 1, 2 are real numbers? Do you know what is a real line? It is from minus infinity to plus infinity. 0, 1, 2 lie on this line, yes or no? Huh? Arey
Yes, ma'am.
Baba, answer. Okay, yeah, 0, 1, 2 are there here. So when you assign some X to that, if for each element of S, if the resultant thing is a real number, we call that X as random variable. So X is called as random variable, in short RV. Now it may be, okay, is the first thing clear? So for every member of the sample space, if you operate X on that, if the resultant thing is a real number, then that X is called as a random variable. Okay. Now real numbers means, are they all whole number or maybe like decimal number, rational, irrational, all type you get? real line if you take, no, is it all numbers are there, all variety of numbers are there, or only whole numbers are there?
Ma'am, it includes rational.
It
irrational
includes
numbers.
everything except the complex number. Am I right? Real number is actually the biggest set if you compare with rational, irrational, everything. But it is just smaller than complex number. If there is a I, no, then only it is complex number. So this is, you can say, like it contains everything. So X is having, now it is maybe mapped on a whole number. So if X is mapped on a whole number, it is called as discrete random variable. Now, if suppose if this resultant is, you are getting such that the real numbers are nothing but not whole number. Not whole number means you can call it as a continuous random variable. Okay. Now, I know you have not got much idea regarding this. I'll give you one example. Suppose if I just tell you, see, in the whole college, tell me the number. Okay, now don't want whole college. For the civil department, can you tell me the number of students which are there in all the semesters? So your answer will be whole number or not a whole number. Means if I ask you what are the total number, what is the strength, total strength of your division, means you may say 63, 64. Correct? For A division, if I ask, it will be something 67, 68. Am I right? What I'm doing, I'm calculating now the number of students which are there in each of the semester. So you will get a whole number or a fractional number, like a rational, irrational number. How you get?
Whole number.
Whole number. Can you say 20.5 students are there in my class? No, that will be a wrong thing. Correct. So it will be a whole number. So whenever you take such type of experiments, it gives us a discrete random variable. Okay. Now, I'll take only civil B division 4 semester. I'll ask you to just tell me, okay, the height of the students. Height of the students. So is it going to be only 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet? Are you getting it as a whole number? Only feet? Huh?
No, ma'am.
No. What you will get?
5 and 1.
Yeah,
Or
some
five
inches,
something.
like some inches also. So such problems will come under continuous random variable. Okay, little idea at least got from this example. Because here some experiments, some problems are being given up where we have to just check out and we have to just say whether it belongs to discrete or whether it belongs to continuous, like that. Okay, so whenever you just go for problems which are like counting problems, will give us discrete random variable. Okay, and whenever you go for measuring problems, means something made to be measured, like here height of the students, maybe weight of the students. Okay, weight cannot be like 50, it cannot be only 60, it cannot be like that, it may be 50.5. Correct, it may be 52.6. Okay, so in the same interval you may be having so many values. So if you are getting the answer in some interval, it is referred as continuous random variable. Okay, so measuring problems are continuous random variables. The definitions and everything I'll just send in the group, not to worry about it. You understand when I just deal with some problems, why it is discrete and why it is continuous. Okay, now here for this probability, okay, we have probability distribution function, which is in short called as PDF. It is probability distribution function. So this PDF, probability distribution function, is defined for DRV, discrete, as well as for CRV. So first I'll deal with DRV. Okay. Now suppose we have a discrete random variable as X. Means X is taking which type of numbers? If I take a variable, it has to take which
Whole
type of
number.
number? Whole number. Then only it is called as discrete. Okay. Suppose I have got like that. Suppose those numbers are in the form like x1, x2, x3 and so on. Okay. For all these outcome, suppose if I assign one function p on that. See, in general, this I can refer it as pi. Xi. So for these all variables, if I just take a function p and operate it on this, okay, such that it has to satisfy two properties. The first property is if you just apply p on this each of the xi, the value should be greater than or equal to 0. This is first condition I'll put for all I. Means p of x1 is greater than or equal to 0, p of x2 is greater than, like that. Okay, first condition it has to satisfy. Second one, if I add all these p of xi values, I from 1 to infinity, the answer should be equal to exactly 1. This is very important condition. Okay. Suppose, okay, I think you may not get a exact idea about it, but try to understand. Suppose x is discrete random variable. So it may be taking the values like x1, x2, x3, so on. Okay, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. So I'll apply one function p on such discrete random variable xi. Suppose if it is satisfying two conditions. What is the first one? P of xi. Each p of x1 if you take, it should be positive. It should be positive. It should not be negative. Okay. And second condition, if you just go on adding all the p of xi, if the sum is equal to 1, then what function you have taken? No, this is called as probability distribution function, PDF in short. Okay. Probability distribution function of the discrete random variable x. Now see, the thing is, they will give one table. They'll give you one table containing x and p of x values. Okay. X values will be something like 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. So they will give p of x values, okay, some ABCD, suppose. Then what you have to do, you have to check whether this is a probability density function, yes or no. Sorry, not density, it is distribution function or no. So for that, you have to check each ABCD should be what? Positive. These all values should be positive. Are you getting it? And if you add this A plus B plus C plus D, what you should get the sum? If you add all the probability values, what you should get the sum? It should be 1. If these two conditions are satisfied, then you can say the given function is what? Probability distribution function. If you pass your 12th with, okay, some marks, and if you appear for CET or COMEDK, whatever it is, they are all the things, then you are eligible to take engineering admission. Else, one more thing is what? Diplomas. You should complete diplomas and directly you can come to third semester. So they are all the conditions, am I right? Similarly, suppose if you have some conditions in the way that if these two are satisfied, we say that it is a probability distribution function. Okay. Along with this, we require one more thing, that is first one is mean. Okay. Mean is denoted as mu. It is given by summation of x into p of x. And second one is called as variance. Variance is denoted by V. It is given by summation of x square p of x minus mu square. So these are the important things. Can anybody tell me what is the standard deviation then? What is the standard deviation? What is the basic definition of standard deviation? No? In the previous topic, what you all learned? How you have taken standard deviation? I'm really surprised. 48 students are there, not ready to answer. What is the relation between standard deviation and variance?
Square root of variance.
Yeah, this is a statistical thing. Always it is true. Standard deviation is always square root of variance. Yeah, I think you people are in a hurry, but let it be. Just wait. I'll take one example and I'll make you understand what is this probability distribution function is. Okay? Yes or no?
No.
What hurry? Okay, it's okay.